Welcome, ladies and gents, to a big series here in Titans League. We got round 4, and this is where things start to get really, really serious. Sitaux, with a sweep here today, would go first of the group above Hera. Now, with 2 wins, he would tie Hera in wins, but Hera would be ahead on the tiebreak. So Sitaux still has chances at first place. Obviously, he gets 1 or 2 wins, pretty much solidifies himself in the top 3 as well to go into the playoffs, which would be a huge, huge thing for him. He's playing as the Vietnamese, and then we've got Classicpro. And Classicpro, he has only 3 wins after 3 rounds. So he is in desperate needs of wins to survive. If he gets 1 or 2 wins, he's very close to Barros and Nikov there in the middle of the group. Does seem like Valeza is probably going to be the player relegated. One of the 2 players relegated, that is. But we just don't know who's going to join him. Now, I've been really impressed with Classicpro's level. I think the game that he played against Hera on this map is going to be one that he'll want back. That could have been a victory. And just for those that watched that series, it feels like he was mentally broken after it. Imagine he wins that game. Maybe the roles reverse a little bit. Maybe Classicpro gets 2 wins. And that whole series just turns around. Now, he's gone Chinese. This Civ is super, super strong on this map. Starting with the extra vills, having the ability to push in lots of deer really helps their eco. And no one is really doing anything to try and disrupt that, except for Barros. Barros had a game actually against Classicpro where he went Mezzo. So he went Mayans in one game, and I think he went Incas another. And before someone tells me Incas isn't a Mezzo Civ. I get it. But, and it actually went, he brought the eagle forward. Guys, I think it's really smart. I think we'll actually see it later on. You just basically camp the eagle here, especially with Mayans and Incas, because Mayans, you have the extra vills, so your eco is better than your opponent. And then Incas, you have the free llama, and you save a lot with the extra pop space on the houses. So basically, with no deer economy, your economy is better. And he would just sit here with the eagle and stop the deer push, which I thought was just so smart. And you can't do anything with the scout. You can't, like... The scout's slightly faster, you can run away from it, but you won't actually be able to push in deer. So anyways, that is very irrelevant to this moment. But there's going to be a time where we see it again. And I'm going to say, remember, I told you guys about this. And everyone in chat is going to be like, right? And they're going to, hopefully you guys are going to be like, man, I know things now. I remember T90's ramble in Dark Age, and I feel better for it. Right? That's what you guys are going to think. Hopefully. Maybe. I don't think people are that interested, but whatever. Okay. Sitaux pushing in his deer. So lots of food income there on the back of also having the pig saved up. And I'm wondering if this is going to be more spears and skirms. We've seen more skirms on this map than any other map. And probably more spears as well. And I thought it was just going to be a scout opening map. But not to be. We see it a couple times. Now, I still think Man-at-Arms is a viable strategy, and it is 4 on wood for Sitaux. So he may be considering this, and the reason that's viable, of course, is just because you can't wall in your vills in the wood line. It just hasn't been something the top players have been going for. Classicpro clicks up. Healthy res collected lead right now. And we got some crazy walls here for Sitaux. So that eliminates Man-at-Arms. That is a very awkward bush. Very weirdly shaped, random bush in the middle of the map. Is that supposed to be there? Oh, I guess they're around the map. Okay. Well, not a big deal, of course. Sitau's going to click up. So I guess Sitau's going to play defense first. Seems to be the plan. Vietnamese have cheap eco upgrades, faster researching eco upgrades. All that stuff's good. You know what I haven't talked about is that gold for Classicpro. We saw this... one other time, we saw it yesterday, actually, where the gold was right there on the front, and Hera was able to get the job done. But I think Classicpro definitely needs to prioritize map control with that being there. This is a weird take, okay? This is a super weird take. But I think if you have a forward gold like this, if you have a map that has, like, let's say an unlucky hill, or just an area that you definitely need to control... sometimes it ends up benefiting the player because they play with more map control. Whereas if you, like, how many people here have had a stellar map, and so you think, oh, I just wall and play safe and I win the game. And then things go wrong. You don't have map control because you played too greedy. And then you're like, I had a perfect situation. I just suck. Obviously, this is super high level here. But I think it reminds Classic Pro. I've got to control the map here and be as active as possible. So there's the range there for Sitaux. It definitely happens at this level. What I just said, by the way, definitely plays its role. And Moonwalking Spearman coming forward. And, Sitaux was really close to getting hit there. And still could be close to getting hit. But Classic Pro will see it's the range. Knows this will probably be skirms. I like the walls here from Sitaux. There's now only one entry point into Sitau's base, and that is through here. So you tower that, or you just have your army waiting. The opponent can't really surprise you. Now, this is interesting. I don't think this was intentional. I think he got housed, but it is cheaper, and it does research faster, so he's going to research Wheelbarrow now. So actually a pretty passive opening here for Sitaux. And behind this, we have some walling where you can wall for Classic Pro. It just looks so funny. To see this wall, and you have units be able to pass on either side is hilarious. Oh, man, it would be crazy if Classic Pro can walk past there. Oh, and he does. That is not what Sitaux wanted at all. Sitaux thought he had the army to block it off, started to advance forward, and Classic Pro is just passing, bro. And this could be an awful start for Sitaux. This is not what he wants. He's also not bringing the spears back. He's fighting it back. But I like the confidence from Classic Pro. This is the same confidence we saw when he played Hera on this map. He just goes for the kills, and there is another spear coming back now for Sitaux, but he did not want to allow those units to go through there. So, he hasn't scouted much. He researched Wheelbarrow super early. And again, like, your opponent's going to research it, so you're ahead of the game. But it's not good to get Wheelbarrow that early, because you're down in Vils, even more so. A shaky start for Sitaux when the narrative is he could potentially steal first place today. And Classic Pro looking good. This army's taken a long time to move forward. It's just a pretty small army. There will be skirms from Classic Pro. And Classic Pro's scouts still running around the map. So, I'm looking at Sitau's eco. I'm not loving it compared to Classic Pro's. And 5 villager lead for the time being. Now, that will be less once Classic Pro researches Wheel. But again, you research Wheel early, you're sacrificing villager numbers. Because you're researching that instead of getting the upgrade. Or instead of producing the Vils, rather. Sorry. First game of the day for me, and also maybe a little rude for my boy Sitaux, but also for Sitaux. Maybe he just needs to warm up a little bit more. Now, I'm not in love with where Classic Pro placed the lumber camp, because part of that was on this line of trees. This would inevitably happen. He can just build another one there. Yep, there he goes. And so we've seen games where this trash flood can really work and smother the opponent, but it just hasn't happened here. Sitaux is still building up big numbers, though. Big numbers. Yeah, Zara's right. I mean, the eco collected is partly due to the Chinese, but partly due to the fact that Sitaux lost a villager and researched Wheelbarrow when he did, right? But just the narrative for me always is, if you're up against Chinese, you got to pressure them fast, man. You got to pressure them quickly, or you ban them in the draft. Now, I didn't really look at the bans and give my opinions on that. But I love how patient Classic Pro's played for now. Now he's really got to deal with a force, though. His skirms are camping this area at the moment. He's done a good job with that gold just to wall in front of it. The scout's still hoovering around here. Yoking Whisper and Questwind with new subs. Welcome, guys. Thank you. Appreciate that. Welcome in. I know it's like maybe a tiring meme for those that listen to me every day, but it is amazing how many new people here, especially during an event like this, because it's a lot of effort, a lot of time invested, and I've had people coming in from YouTube every day. And then, of course, some people can't make it. That's all good, too. All the views on the extras channel has been ridiculous. So scouts are very weak. They need a monk. I need a monk. Fletching is not on the way for Classic Pro, but Castle Age is. Now, this could actually get kind of awkward. You look at this army and you think it's not going to accomplish too much because it's just a bunch of skirms, but there will be more skirms coming. Fletching is in. Fletching will be in for Classic Pro, but this is kind of difficult to dance here. And the scout for Sitaux could maybe come in here and cause some problems. The spears aren't going to cause many problems. I guess the scouts for Classic Pro could come back and help out. And Classic Pro will just want to hold here. As long as he doesn't take many losses, he'll be okay. Yeah, scout's pretty weak for Sitaux now. And Sitaux's other army is oh, it's coming through this way. Okay. So he has another army at home, and then this army's come in to reinforce. It's kind of hard to hype up a skirm war, but it is really important. It's like, oh, wow, look how slowly things are dying. Super hype. It's super important here for Classic Pro. And it's also important, think about if you want to play into knights, it's important that you have the skirms to pick off spears, so your opponent can't go pikemen. But things have gone super smooth for Classic Pro. I mean, Sitaux is really going to have to work hard here, man. Hi, I'm new. If I pretend to be new, will you thank me for joining but mispronounce my name? No, I know you're not new, but I'll mispronounce your name anyways. How's that, Raz? Does that work? T90, if you weren't a caster, what career path would you have gone down? Those are the things that keep me up at night sometimes. I don't want to know the answer to that question. I have no clue. You think I'm here because I had a plan? I'm not here because I had plans. I'm here because I didn't have plans. Male model? Yeah. Definitely that. Definitely that. Mustache model. Yeah. I got big offers, guys. I got big offers. I also got a pretty lucrative offer from Manchester United, but I said, you know what? I think I need to serve the Age of Empires 2 community. I can't be a model. I can't be an athlete. This is what I should do. So a pretty big sacrifice. So again, if you haven't subscribed yet, I mean, just think of the sacrifices I've made. Love this from Classic Pro. I mean, it's just so good. He's had the perfect game. The second TC's on the way. Like, he's not over-investing into army here, right? Not going all in. It's a calculated approach to apply enough pressure to really have Sitaux on the ropes, while also macroing behind. This shows confidence. I like this little wall on the outside as well. And this puts more pressure on Sitaux to get some damage here. And I think this is all going to be awful for Sitaux. He's going to lose everything. He's going to lose absolutely everything. The spears can't stick around because the skirms are here. The knights will pounce on everything else. The wood villagers are kind of walled in, so they won't be killed by the knights, but the skirms are still there. And now Sitaux's going to try and go 3-range cav archers. I mean, good luck keeping Eco alive before those cav archers come out. This is so good from Classic Pro. Sitaux aims to get the quick walls down. Will kind of protect the gold. But yeah, I actually think the key right now for Classic Pro is actually to fall back. Fall back, start producing skirms again, get to elite skirm. Mass cav archers can be an issue for you. It feels like there's a lot of value in still having these skirms around. Then he's going to do the opposite. He's going to take the fight. He knows he's cooking on 2 TCs behind this. Odd Canaro's on the way. That's still a really good fight. Still doesn't have elite skirm yet. So you just cannot allow the Chinese to cook. That's exactly what has happened here. And Sitaux now dropping a town center. Can he get all the walls down here as well? The knights could make it through. More quick walls. Okay, so the TC might go up, but there's still exposed vills, and there's still all of this to pay attention to. This is not easy if you're Sitaux. So easy to lose track. Now, most of the skirms that were forward all went down. There's just those 2 skirms. But Classic Pro using the mobility of the knights. Guys, this is a confident player. Remember how good he played on this map against Hera in the previous round. He's playing just as good here. He just seems like the more comfortable player in this scenario, doesn't he? He'll click Elite Skirm. He's also snagging relics, by the way, so he might have a few of those at home. Elite Skirm will be in, and Sitaux realizes he needs a counterattack fast. So I like this from Sitaux. With walls, you can protect from the knights for a little bit longer and wait for your new cav archers to defend. He does lose another Vil. Classic Pro might be wondering where those Cav Archers are because they're not attacking the Knights right now. So you should have somewhat of a sense that this is coming. Loses the Monk. Gold is a problem still. But the wall here gives him a bit of time. Sitaux thinking he can run around. He won't be able to. And there will be some skirms out. So awkward for Classic Pro. Especially for the Monks. Wow, losing 3 Monks is not good. But there should be some skirms here. Healthy eco lead. This is also good. When you haven't had to build a market at all, and all your eco upgrades are flying in, and your army's as smooth as it is, and then your opponent's dropping a market while you're raiding him, that tells you, oh man, I've got him rattled. Like, his eco is a mess right now. Still does feel like if Sitaux can get to a critical amount of Cav Archers, with maybe some Siege or Knights mixed in, this could get kind of interesting. Classic Pro, just 2 TCs. It will be 3 in a second for Sitaux. But he's going to lose Villager number 7, Villager number 8, and Villager number 9, Villager number 10. I mean, the Knights will go down. But this feels worth it to get those kills. A little awkward. But there's also this to pay attention to, right? So it's +2 armor on the Knights. And now Ballistics, +2 armor, and Bodkinera on the Skirms. So this army is super strong. Knights alone wouldn't cut it, but with the Skirms as well. It's not looking good for Sitaux. This is obviously very good for Hera. If Sitaux loses games today, that's great for his chances of getting first. His chances are pretty solid regardless. I think he would only lose first if Sitaux got a 3-0, but still. And this is also not good for Nikov and for Barles. They're hoping that Classic Pro gets swept today, so they don't have to worry about relegation. They have one person less to compete for the playoffs with. Sorry. Still haven't had my coffee. I just don't see how Sitaux can break Classic Pro when he's playing at this level. 20 villager lead. Micro's top tier. Army production's always happening. I mean, Sitaux will try, but he can't push this back. You can dance all you want, Sitaux, but you're still not advancing forward against the amount of army that's coming forward from Classic Pro. That's the only thing he can do, though, is try his best to micro it. Honestly, this could have been a GG situation already if his micro wasn't so good, but he doesn't quite have the Knights to hit these skirms, and the skirms are still going to be all over the CA. Expensive losses for Sitaux, and there's still this follow-up army that hasn't even moved forward yet. Almost feels like Sitaux is going to save for Imp now. I mean, maybe that could work if he could click up, but down 25 Vils? How are you supposed to have the time for Imp? Even the resources when you're at 63 Vils. When you make it to Imp, you're not going to have a lot to work with. I think the best way for him to push this back is actually getting more Knights on the field of his own and spending all those resources. But when your opponent already has such a lead, you think of the extremes to come back. James, what's up? This is the first set. Overlord, thanks for the 30. Wujika, welcome back. Thanks for the 19. Also, Dev Freak. Thanks for the Prime. It's weird to me how many people thought that I was joking when I said I turned down a male modeling gig to do this instead. Everybody laughed. What's that? How's that supposed to make me feel? Not one person seemed to think that was a serious comment. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Armor's coming in for Sitaux. I mean, this is a good play. 3 stables. When the opponent's got skirms, you definitely need Knights in the mix. And Classic Pro, Vil count just rising even more. We do have a counterattack from Sitaux, though. And this army has been really active. It killed 2 Vils. Must have just been army that was at home earlier. So this is something Sitau's needed. This is the first bit of positivity towards Sitaux I've had in a long time here. Because he's just been reacting to Classic Pro through the middle. Finally, he moves elsewhere. I don't know if it'll accomplish much more than just the idle time. Classic Pro's there to deal with it. But it opens up an opportunity here for Sitaux. There is a chance here, guys, that Sitaux could do this. Classic Pro is struggling. Classic Pro is struggling. Just one raid can give the momentum back to a player, and that's exactly what is happening here. The Knights are going to surprise him. We have a Panic Tower now from Classic Pro who's on the way to Imp. But this could be the opportunity for Sitaux. If those skirms had just fallen back, I wouldn't have be as worried, but unfortunately, he lost like 10 or so skirms there. He will deal with this, though. Still has a 15 villager lead, still has 3 relics. And I like the switch to crossbowman, actually. So he's going to just try and go arbs. Essentially, his ranged units will then have good power against the knights and against the cav archers. And again, Classicpro's got just enough to hold this. Maybe. He will clear up the raid in the back. We know that. I think I'm wrong, actually. I think I'm wrong. I think Sitau's taking a pretty reasonable fight here. Tower isn't fully garrisoned. Sitaux did a good job at focusing down the knights. Panic time for Classicpro. Classicpro only a 7 villager lead. He will be imp. But that's a lot of pressure on his gold. It won't be easy to afford things. Look at him sell 1,000 wood. He sold all of his wood just to get the gold for a couple more upgrades here. I think this siege workshop is critical, and Sitaux calls the GG. Okay. I was expecting to talk about how important the siege workshop position is, because if Classicpro moves forward here, he will have to be hesitant with the siege. But Sitaux was nowhere near clicking up. I think he felt like he was behind for a really long time. I think ultimately he loses this game. Maybe slightly early. Slightly. But I think Classicpro gets the job done here. He'll have a pretty big army. He'll have Arbalest. He's got stone. He's got gold. He's got the relics. He moves right past the siege workshop and probably gets the kills. Sitau's very exposed here. And it was just kind of a passive opening in a matchup where I don't think one can be passive. That's the way I would describe that. I think you can play it like that. If you're Sitaux, you can have a rough feudal age with the early wheel and everything if you're not against Chinese and not against Classicpro. But super smooth game from Classicpro. He gets the win. Let's pull up what that means. Again, that's the best result for drama. And I know 90% of you guys are just here for the drama. So, I mean, we still have 2 more games, obviously. But that's way better for Hera to get first place. That is way better for Classicpro in terms of the push for playoffs and survival. And that is also way worse for Nikov and for Barles. Because look how close these guys are now. So if Classicpro can get more wins, that Barles-Nikov series in 2 days is crazy, crazy pressure for both of them. Because loser there could be in the relegation zone. So let's see. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Game 2, we got Malay for Classicpro. Again, the theme seems to be that players can be really close on this map. We made change. So I'm going to explain why that is. So we made changes to basically have it so a player's TC orientation in relation to the pond is always the same. Meaning, if someone is up against the edge of the map here with a certain distance to a pond, it has to be the exact same for the other. So we did that because sometimes players would have an easy wall off and other players wouldn't. But what that actually means is sometimes, if it's the exact same position, they end up being very close to each other. I guess the alternative spawn for Sitaux could have been like over here, which puts them a little bit further away. So it is balanced, but that's something the players will have to factor in now. And Japanese, more of the aggressive civ, just because of their early flexibility, and then the Malay, they actually want the safety of one pond. But it's kind of tricky. Now, I think they're always going to end up docking away from each other here, because once it's scouted, Classicpro will realize he is slightly closer to this pond than to the pond over here. But there is a chance the Classicpro doesn't think about that, comes down here, and then that leaves him more exposed against a Sitaux dock later on. Whale Nugget, thanks for the prime. But yeah, I played a ton of Tony Hawk Pro Skater, and I seem to remember there was a bunch of cheat codes. And so I think this piece of paper is cheat codes from that. Now, my other theory, I didn't use cheat codes in Serious Sam, but did anyone here play Serious Sam? I think there were cheat codes there too. And my brother played a ton of Serious Sam. So my guess on this sheet of cheat codes that was found in like my parents' attic, my guess is it's like Serious Sam cheats or it's Tony Hawk Pro Skater cheats. And I tried Googling and everything. I could not find answers anywhere on it. So I thought someone in my chat will know. But yeah, I played Serious Sam, but I was quite young. I didn't really play that. Like, Tony Hawk Pro Skater, I was a little bit older. Serious Sam was like, how old was I when I played Serious Sam? Old enough where I was scared. Like, it was actually kind of a horror game for me. Playing that on my brother's PC, so. Speaking of things I've been meaning to bring up to chat. So I obviously have mods, right? And not like stream mods, not moderators, but in-game mods. Right now we have the fish one on. I'm using the wrong fish mod. I hope it's not too annoying, but I can always switch that. But anyways. So I don't know how many I use, but I use a main menu mod, which changes it to a T90 theme. I've in-game like mods that affect my UI. And I've got, like, small trees, fish, all this stuff, right? I maybe have, like, 15 of them active. One of my mods has now been... It's turned into a troll because it changed some of my taunts. And I don't have any taunt packs. But anytime I try and do Wololo, which is the 30 taunt, it's the troll song. And I can't figure out which one it is. I've asked people who made the mods. I'm like, what happened? Because someone made the T90 main menu mod. And so I asked the creator of the main menu mod, I said, yo, are you trolling me? Like, what's happening? He's like, no, it wasn't me. I have no clue what it is. All the mods are normal. So I don't know if anyone else is having this issue. But I just keep finding random things changing. And that's the one I found recently, so... Someone's having way too much fun. I kind of respect it because it's hilarious, but also give me my Wololo back, you know? All right, so Sitaux gets his early scouting intel. Sitaux's a super aggressive player on this map. He loves to just send it, guys. You see man-at-arms. You see forward vills for pawns. Would not surprise me if Sitaux somehow gets a dock up over here. Now, the Malay get lots of vision. So it's a bit harder to be sneaky against the Malay on their docks. But, again, that's a Sitaux thing, and there's Sitaux already. No way Sitaux is actually going to try and sneak below his TC. I guess there is a path. And he doesn't really have all the scouting intel. Yeah, so he doesn't know what we know. Here come the militia. And full walls from Classicpro. Now, Classicpro did scout the barracks. So he scouted the barracks and immediately has fallen back to wall like crazy. Knows that Sitaux is probably going to be active around the map. Scouts are going to find each other here. And I'm sure Classicpro is expecting militia. Now, these walls actually accomplish being safe from the militia. It would be horrible for... Oh, that's actually so bad for for Sitaux. This Classicpro can still keep that scout alive, and he doesn't have one now. The positive for Sitaux is he did scout a lot before losing it. But this scout... I mean, dude, guys, Classicpro is playing incredible. He knows his opponent. He knows the vills are going to be sent. He knows it's going to be crazy. He knew it was going to be man-at-arms. And he might lose the scout. No, he notices. Now, where things get tricky is he's not on gold yet. So what I would say, you fight this off with your vill and hope for the best. But you might also just want to sacrifice the scout. I know that feels weird, but you get an extra hit or two. And add a fire galley anyways. Sitaux is not going to let this villager die. His quick walls are really solid. And, yeah, he's going to get a dock down eventually. And if he does, this becomes a problem. I like the move from Classicpro to make the fire. That's a good move. And the next move would actually be to wall in this vill so it can't run. Yeah, so if you do that and you make some fires, you should be able to defend your fish. Now, in the south, both players with villagers just passing each other. I think Sitaux just noticed that, though. I think the militia are coming over. Look at them walk with a purpose. They've got somewhere to be, and it is at that villager's funeral right now. Archer's also on the way for Sitaux. This dock should be denied. And remember, Classicpro still has not gone to gold. That's a big problem for Classicpro. He's open with scouts here, which is great for map control. But he will not deny this dock. This dock could still be a threat. And now dock number 2 for Classicpro, but he's just now shifted vills to gold. So he won't be able to make the second fire in time. If Sitaux can think about it, Sitaux might be able to make another fire. Sitau's village are somehow safe, by the way, because the palisade is blocking. There's a lot happening. There's also a gap here for Classicpro. So many different things to look at. Now he's moving forward with his scouts to get some damage, but he just did not remember that this was open. This could be so good for Sitaux. There's so much potential that this dock could eventually lead to kills. Oh, he's gone for the fishing ship. He went for the fake that Nikov kind of patented in his first round against Hera. That's epic, man. I was wondering if we were ever going to see that again. The scouts over here weren't able to find any kills. Sitaux is playing amazing, guys. He's just got army and navy everywhere. But yeah, right now, Classicpro thinks that that could be a demo and 3 fires. So he's going to make a lot more ships here. He has to respect that. So he's going to invest. He's invested into a second dock, and he'll invest into at least 2 or 3 more ships before he finds out that that is just a fishing ship. That is just a straight-up bait. Sick. The scouts moving around. And this army here is still getting value for Sitaux. Look at the difference in the resources collected, guys. How often do you see that when the Malay are involved? That's Japanese on a map with lots of fish. 11 fishing ships for Sitaux. He's already fish trapping, too. He has played this so good. And sets himself up nicely for the next play. I thought the next play was going to be Castle Age. Is absolutely not going to be Castle Age. He has a stable, and he'll be sending in scouts as well. So it's mainly skirm defense here for Classicpro, so scouts could make sense. 2 farms only, but 11 fishing ships and counting. Also, in the north, Sitaux doesn't know that Classicpro is there, and Classicpro doesn't know that he is there. But the archers are now in. Guys, this is crazy, man. This is crazy. Shout out to Nikov. Shout out to a couple people in the YouTube comments over the years who maybe thought about it as well. But to execute on this is beautiful, man. And he's still repairing the dock like he's actually going to produce. He still might actually get to a point where he does. He's got a demo in queue now. He's massacring Classicpro. This isn't even close. This is why Sitaux picks this map. Undefeated on this map this season, by the way. Might get to the point where future opponents have to ban this from Sitaux. I think he played this every round, actually. Can someone check that for me? First round, I forget who he played. I remember a game with Malayans against Hindustanis against Hera. He beat Hera. Anyways, not really important. Demo does move out. Almost killed some fish there, I guess. But the fake fishing ship has been shown now. But the dock's still there, so it still could do something. 6-1 Eco KD. Sitaux on the way up to the next stage. In the end, the Scout Edition didn't add a ton for him, honestly. And it looks like they both found each other in the north. So, we will see what happens next. I mean, Classicpro is held on. He is Malay. He'll advance up to Castle Age pretty quickly. I see 3 ranges right now for Sitaux, so this feels like Cav Archers. Look how confident and open he plays, too. He just it's production, production, production. He doesn't really even think about walls. Detour says, yes, he played in 1 cross in every series. Okay. Well, odds are good it could happen again. Killed another Vill. Down here in the south, this villager's even protected. But this is now at the point where, like, the fishing, you've already invested pretty heavily into the fishing. It's more about land than anything. That food eco's obviously paid off for him. And it would be quite an investment for Classicpro to prioritize taking some of those ponds now, where Sitaux has most of his fish. I think Classicpro can deal with this. It's just 2 archers in the back. The scouts are coming home. Yeah, I mean, there's no way that this army gets any more value. This should absolutely be dead. But there will be another army coming from Sitaux, and that's going to be the problem. So beating the Malay to Castle Age, that's just crazy. And there we go. It's crossbowman, actually. I'm a little surprised, because when he added the extra ranges, he only had 5 archers. He produced a couple more. I don't hate it, though, because of the resources he has. I think you have to be a little bit more particular on how you spend it in Classic Pro's position. But, I mean, Classic Pro's getting crossbowman for 3 archers. And he can't even afford elite skirmisher yet. So this is not good at all. Not good at all. Sitaux, so much confidence. It's like he's angry at himself for playing so passively in the first game. He's here to send a message, get some great kills. Siege will be the follow-up. And there are still some scouts from Classic Pro and the second TC for Classic Pro. Maybe Classic Pro could stabilize this with the Malay. He's not going to be able to fish in the north, though. Sitaux TC2. Sitaux TC3. Someone says Malay are just so bad. They only have a couple advantages, but the Civ is so weak. Spenny D, I gotta disagree with you there, bro. The pick rate, the ban rate, the win rate, everything we've seen in this tournament and others proves Malay are insanely strong. They can be really good. But I just gotta bring it back to look at the gameplay from Sitaux. He's got 16 fishing ships. This is just unbelievable, dude. I mean, he's gone crazy with the fish. Look at him, fish trap as well. So, I understand it's easy to look at this and say, well, Malay, what can Malay do? You know, they don't get knights or whatever. But a lot of this just comes back to Sitaux. Not trying to pick on you, by the way. Trust me, you'll see some games where the Malay look unbeatable as well. It's crazy to me how Sitaux is on 3 town centers and is also fish trapping. Like, what? He's also siege pushing. It's incredible how many things he's really able to do. He's been active on every single pond in some capacity. And now he's even transitioning in towards farms. It's been a perfect game, man. Honestly, one of the best cross games you'll see. Just domination, man. Normally, the Malay eco is superior, right? They advance so fast, and they can hit you with those timings. But Sitaux he has been the one controlling this game. By the way, well played to Classic Pro. This has been a tough situation for him for a while now. So, well played to him to hold on. And he is starting to stabilize a little bit. The key for him now really is going to be a siege. Because without siege, he's got nothing. But there will be siege as well for Sitaux. Now, if Sitaux is a normal player, the fact that he's managing 3 TCs behind this would take his focus away from the push. But Sitaux is Sitaux, and I imagine Sitaux is still going to have very good micro in this situation. And so far, he's confident. Might see a Villager Wonder in here to get repairs. Nice micro from Classic Pro. You could tell that Sitaux is focusing a lot on the micro because his wood count's banking. But that's acceptable here. You need to find a better moment for macroing than right now if you're going to push like this. And yeah, that's a good engagement. And then eventually you look back and you just auto farm away and places the farms all nice and tidy for you and you're good to go. Scorpion down. Mangonel will get killed though. Oh, but not before a big shot for Sitaux. Yikes, man. That was so painful. And Classic Pro calls the GG. And we have ourselves a 1-1. Man, that was impressive. That's so fun, man. He might be the best cross player on the planet right now. His crossplay has been ridiculous. There's been some other players that really prefer this map. I know Capoch in another group, even though he hasn't had as good a season. He loves cross. But that is how you play Japanese. Man, the amount of people that play Japanese, they don't make infantry. They don't YOLO vills. They just kind of wall up and chill. And then you're like, well, why are you picking Japanese? It's just too damn high. That is how you play cross, man. Every single pond, infantry, archers, and then fish. He had fish trapping back here already. Probably would have had the fish traps down here. That's just sick. Still adding fishing ships too, by the way. What was his APM like this game? See, this is where I feel like APM... There's no way that he was slower this game. This is where I don't know if I trust that stat. KD was brutal. Or solid at least, but the eco, man. more of every single resource. So Sitaux responds. Let's pull up the stats now. It is tough for Sitaux. He needed the 3-0 to go first today, but he's still keeping pace with Hera. So live standings, this is what it looks like. Obviously worse for Classic Pro survival chances. Still like a 56% chance that he ends up getting relegated. But if he gets the next win, he's ahead of Nikov. He's tied with Barles. And Barles and Nikov play in 2 days. So this next win's huge. And it will be on Classic Pro's home map. Classic Pro's home map evacuation. Here we go. What's the thing? If you don't know what the thing is, then you missed out. Sorry, we're gatekeeping here. I'm going to make a separate video on it eventually. You can go back and watch the Dragon Star series and see the evacuation game yesterday. So, welcome everybody. Game number 3. Classic Pro hoping to survive. Still has outside chances of making the playoffs. He wins the next game. He's tied with Barles. He's 1 win ahead of Nikov. But Barles and Nikov have yet to play, so they've got some games in hand. Sitaux's gone for the Malayans instead of the Mongols, which is interesting. Also, I forgot to do an ad break. What do you think, guys? Should I do the ad break now? Or should I just let it... Maybe it doesn't run in the game at all? What do you think? I probably should do it now. Yeah, I will do it now, guys. Sorry I didn't do it in between games. I suck. It's just Dark Age. That way you don't miss out on a big mango shot or something later on. So, yeah, I thought Sitaux could have maybe gone Mongols here. You've got the Hunt on the outside and the 3rd boar. I think if you used your scout to bring in this boar and then also had the 2 rhinos, Mongols are a really good pick here. But he goes for the overall flexible choice. Malayans have better bonuses when it comes to kind of the long term. Well, actually, it's harder to be better than Mongols in the long term. But I mean, like, in Feudal Age and Castle Age, they feel like they have more bonuses with all the wood savings. Now, Classic Pro's picked Romans. And he had Portuguese, and he also had Dravidians. I wonder if there's a chance we see some YOLO plays here, guys. Thoughts? Like, I'm a little bit surprised that in Gold League, we didn't see anyone go Fast Castle all-in Scorps or something. We did see Fast Castle Scorpions from Armenians once. This could be an all-in. Because the normal play on this map is you're doing so many things at once. You're expanding, you're focusing on water, you're focusing on land. What if you just skip fish, go all-in Scorpions? It's just not something people at this level are going to do. I think Romans can still easily be picked just for the 5% greater efficiency. That's probably what it is. Yo, Miguel, what's up, man? Thanks for the sub. Nice to see you. Salutes in chat for Miguel. Thank you, bro. Also, M. Dr. Dubs, welcome back. We didn't have any doctors in the chat, so if anyone has any health concerns, you now can run your issues past the doctor. Sunbur, Crazy Ivan, thank you for the primes. Clyro, welcome. Eepy, thanks for the 64 months. Dang, man. Yeah, the Castle Age could be incredible for the Romans. But I think in Imp, they would have some big problems, right? They usually have to rely on infantry and scorpions and cav. They lack bombard cannon. The Malayans do have that. Farimba cav raiding could be a big issue. But if you wall it up, like if you wall at the outside, maybe scorpions could be good. I just don't think the game plan is to let it get there. There's so many other aspects of this game. I don't know if I've ever seen this before. So they both gone for a forward dock. And they're sharing the same fish. That's super funny. I like a forward dock if you're going to go for fires. But I don't know if I like going forward dock to go fire war if you're Romans and can't make demos. Let's look at the difference in the resources collected, by the way. Part of that is the Roman efficiency. I think part of that's also because Sitaux hasn't dropped off food from his rhino yet. Yeah, he just did, so it's much closer. But the Roman win rate at lower and mid ranks is insanely high. I think it's just because 5% greater efficiency, man. It makes all the newbie moves that one might make. Not saying you guys do, but, you know, other people might make 5% better. Not 5% more newbie move, but 5% more efficient, even if it's inefficient, you know? I think this benefits Sitaux to have the docks next to each other like this. Both players are clearly aware. And we see Vils to gold for Classicpro. He has not evacuated at all, so he's staying in the middle with his double lumber camp. And this feels like a second dock for him. For Sitaux. Sitaux's going for militia. Of course he is. This could be so dangerous for Classicpro. Where's his scout? Ah, see? He's scouting the shoreline. Because he's going for a second dock. He thinks that's good. So he probably assumes Sitaux could do the same. But he has not been able to scout the fact that Sitaux is going to be going for man-at-arms. He might not actually have the food eco for man-at-arms, honestly. His food count is not great at the moment. Oh, man, but Classicpro finds the Dockville. Let's see if Sitaux could save this. I think that Ville's dead. There's too many other things to worry about. I respect that, Sitaux. Because you know what happens in some cases there? You try and quick wall and you fail, and then half of chat laughs at you, but then you got no HP damage on the scout. At least the villager goes down and you damage the scout. Again, Classicpro didn't even see the barracks. Now he sees the barracks. Now he sees the militia, and now he's like, oh, crap. Remember, cracked terrain, buildings go down faster. So man-at-arms and a scout on a palisade wall on cracked terrain, they destroy it pretty quickly. Fire ships are out, though, from 2 docks here for Classicpro, so he should be able to win water. And now he has to defend land, so, but good luck, though. I mean, I think I saw a game with Japanese man-at-arms, and it was a palisade like this, so the man-at-arms could be on the hill, and the palisade went down so fast, man. Sitaux doesn't seem to really have a ton of interest in attacking the palisades right now. And he also doesn't know about this other woodline. He doesn't have any clue about this, so he knows about this. He knows about this. He might be assuming there's Vils on the outside, which there's not. God, I love this map. This map is so crazy, so good. Slight bias, of course. Feel free to disagree with me, but... Again, my opinion, peak Age of Empires 2 is options, scouting priority. That's really what this map is all about right now. And Sitaux, just because of history, just because of what people typically do, came out here to find Vils and is wasted a trip. So, pretty good for Classicpro. He's got time to make more scouts and also get a range up to make a couple archers. And these man-at-arms really have not accomplished much at all. Sneaky from Sitaux, though. Sitaux might be able to snipe some fish. So he's not completely off of water. And there goes Sitaux to the outside. And there are the scouts from Classicpro. So now Sitaux will know his opponent's got scouts. But yeah, and now the Vils go to the outside. That's so funny. Now there should be an archer follow-up coming. You always are going to expect this if your opponent has open man-at-arms and knock on heavy on water, which has happened here. So this could be dangerous. This is key for Sitaux with the way this game is going. He needs damage with this army. The ranged army for Classicpro is not here. He will have a couple archers. He will have fletching. Vils are on the outside, dropping a tower, which I like, and also dropping the mill, which I also think is important. And Classicpro is going to let this army wander around. Fletching is coming in now for him. And now Sitaux has scouts that he could maybe be dealing with. Like, Sitaux's probably like, where are his scouts right now? Might be really concerned about this. It's pretty crazy that Classicpro didn't just try and clear this with everything. Because he will definitely clear it if he brings it all. Oh man, that micro from Classicpro was perfect. Yeah, that was really well played. And now he can engage. And he should be able to deal with this. I think Sitaux will, in a weird way, be happy at least that this army isn't killing his Vils right now, but he will not be happy with the rest of the game. Still hasn't killed any fishing ships from Classicpro. He might just lose water. He only has 4 archers and not a whole lot else. And Classic Pro's eco is flying. And by the way, Sitaux doesn't even have double bit right now. So it's Roman efficiency on the eco for Classic Pro. And he's had double bit X. And he's got a fish boom. He's got 1,000 resource lead. Sitaux has really struggled with his resource balance here. 2 minutes of idle TC time for him. Just has not really had the food. Again, Sitau's probably safe to go playoffs regardless of the results today. That's not guaranteed, but probably is a fair word for it. But Nikov and Barros are really hoping that Classic Pro is not in competition for their spots. And if Classic Pro wins 2-1 here, he absolutely is. As good as the performance was for Sitaux in the previous game, this has been on par with that from Classic Pro. You love to see it. He's been patient. He's been active. And so well timed with his defense and attack. The scouts will go down. Maybe. Yep. But Sitaux is forever futile at this point. He needs his archers to get some damage here. Now, this is where you could very easily throw. It's kind of funny. Both names are actually perfect to make jokes. You could say Sitaux, or you could say Classic Throw. I'm not going to do that, but you can. But, like, you want to click Castle Age, so you stop army production for a minute, right? And you do that up against a player who's YOLO double range. So, Sitaux's got big numbers, and so he actually has the numbers to defend these vills. Holy evacuation. Oh, my God. That's 17 vills. But he also has the army to counterattack. So, good recognition from Classic Pro that he needs to leave. Actually, crazy recognition. I also think Town Watch helped a lot. And so he knows that army's going over there. Is going to stay on archers at home for now. But things got a little awkward for his eco. He does still have the wood out here. Now people in chat says more like Throw 90. That doesn't ring like Sitaux or Classic Throw. But yeah, you're right. I throw a lot, so it's more accurate, I guess. It doesn't have the same ring to it, though. I mean, Sitaux needs damage here, guys. And also, he's lost track of this group. He seems to know it's around somewhere, but he doesn't know exactly where it is. When you know you're behind and you don't want to wait around too long. Man, the Archer micro is so good from both of them. My goodness. That's so good. And these archers could find some damage. There is a tower on the wood line. Okay, so Sitaux's got everything in that area. That could be fine. He did need to leave the food, though. Sitaux hasn't clicked up the Castle Age yet. Classic Pro will arrive to Castle Age with the resources to click Castle Age again if you could do that. Look at those resources. And I think Sitaux knew about these archers and is waiting for them. And his archers have been found by the fires. This is what water control can do for you. This would be an amazing victory for Classic Pro. Again, he could have won. Probably should have taken that one game off of Hera. He was really impressive there. Oh, man. Sitaux finding kills on the outside, though. Beautiful find. I don't think Classic Pro is noticing because he's looking here. And I don't think Sitaux notices this because he's looking here. Sitaux's like, oh my God, I'm feasting. He's dead. And he doesn't realize that he himself might be dead. Now he's running. He'll lose his archer here. But, yeah, I mean, look at the amount on each resource for Sitaux. It's not looking good. So, 13-9 Eco KD. But it's 1 on food, 10 on gold, 4 on stone for Sitaux. He has 1 farm. And what army does he have to upgrade? He's got this, I guess. I think if Classic Pro probably wins this game as long as he tracks this. If this Archer army somehow gets value, we have ourselves a different situation. And crossbows will have ballistics. These archers get found. These crossbowmen find villager kills. This feels over, guys. Remember how the resign in game 1? Sitaux was probably dead there, but he resigned. Maybe not with the fight that people were hoping for. Here, he's putting up that fight. There's only 6 eco behind, but this has just been domination from Classicpro. He won the water. He defended on land very nicely, and yet GG's called. Sitaux knows. I don't even have the resources for crossbowmen, much less eco upgrades and bodkin arrow. Beautiful job from Classicpro. Man. Well, you know, in this series, the home maps for both really looked like their home maps, dude. Like, Game 2, Sitaux completely dominated. Game 3, Classicpro the same. Roman's pick made a lot of sense with how he played it. Again, we said you have to pretty much end the game before Imp, and he did just that. So, wow. Classicpro's in incredible shape at the moment, guys. Let's look now. Well, first, we should probably just glance at the satisfying scoreline and KD. And again, just eco was so good. Look at the difference in food eco, man. That's not just 5 fish, by the way. That's farming, getting to the mill on the outside, just super smooth economy transitions. But let's see now what the stats tell us, shall we? Hera should be very happy about that. That doesn't confirm Hera first, but odds are very likely that Hera is going to be first in the group. So Classicpro did Hera a solid. So keep in mind, Hera, Sitaux, Classicpro, and Veleza have played 4 rounds. So they only have 3 more potential wins. And then Barles and Nikov have a potential more of 6 wins, okay? Apparently, that has pretty much relegated Veleza? Or does that mean Veleza... It says 0% for 4th. But then I actually don't know what the little number below it... I think that's the odds. Maybe that's the amount that he lost. So I think Veleza's out. Whatever. We won't waste time on that. But look at how close this is now. Yeah, it went down by 0.1%. Okay, makes sense. So, Barles is at 5. Nikov is at 4. Classicpro is at 5. And Barles and Nikov play in 2 days. So, is the loser... Like, if Nikov... Let's do this. If Nikov loses 2-1 to Barles, what happens? Yeah. So, if Nikov doesn't win his series against Barles, he is in the relegation zone. Puts a lot of pressure on Nikov. Now, if Barles loses 2-1, we then have 6 for Nikov, 6 for Barles, and 5 for Classicpro. But let's not forget Classicpro plays Veleza in the final round. This is going to be close. This is going to be really close in this group. Between, like, 2nd place, honestly, but more so, like, maybe 3rd through 5th. Might come down to just 1 game. So, well played from Classicpro. Classicpro's put up an amazing fight this season. You love to see it. All right, well, let's try that again. Hardy, please don't include that in the YouTube video.